remember, this is a school that is averaging like, let's generously call it 25,000 butts in seats. Maybe. And they had 70,000 there. Now it should have been a sellout. They should have pulled back the tarps and let the USC people fill those extra 20,000.
And they were afraid of that, which I made note of during the past week.
I mean, remember, this is a school that is hemorrhaging millions. And the math I did, I think they threw about $2 million down the toilet and flushed it.
Absolutely.
By not there's like $2 million under those tarps that they flushed.
You're hemorrhaging debt and you're not willing to sell tickets to USC fans. Like, how weak is that?
It's so weak. But that was a wild crowd tonight. It sounded crazy. And our guys went in there and they found a way to win. And this is a scrappy team that's finding ways to win. And I mean, I know, we want everything to be like when we spanked Oklahoma in 2004, but like you find a way to win and you love it. And D points out non-believers jumping on the bandwagon. Hey, I was a believer in the Hackett era. So we'll take it.
We all lived through those tough years.
Exactly. We lived through those tough years. And you know what? We will not hold a grudge. We will welcome everyone back to the fold.
Absolutely. It's a great day to be a Trojan.
What a day. Exactly. What a day to be a Trojan.
Looking at those pictures at the end of the game of, the resolve on Caleb Williams' face and the tears on DTR's.
And how about the tears on Haskins? The tears of celebration.
Tears of joy. Yeah.
That was, and I saw Addison conducting the band to Conquest. Yep. So I'm sure they had a couple people do that.
Let's quickly deal with Bobby Haskins, because not only is he, making the Pac-12 title game at USC and winning over UCLA in the battle for Los Angeles, but, Virginia transfer, that was a big part of his emotions. The tragedy that befell Virginia. So Bobby Haskins is part of that Virginia Cavalier family. And Lincoln Riley made it a point to say earlier this week, we're here for Bobby Haskins, as a man. And as someone who is grieving very deeply. So that was definitely a big part of his emotional release after this game.
Hey, Mark, real quick, a real good question. David Knight, who was with us earlier. David, glad to have you again. Points out, he says, not to ruin the flow, when DTR lowered his helmet and ran into a USC defender, when does that targeting penalty become fair for both sides of the field? It seems offensive players can do it. I know that the definitions of it get real fuzzy. Do you know about that? I must have missed that.
Well,
it just ticks me off too much.
It's just the larger principle that offensive players can lower their heads too. It's not as though offensive players can't use their helmet to spear or use it as a weapon. And that just gets to the point that, hey, there should be targeting rules. There should be rules that, make sure that players don't deliver malicious hits. But that's just the point. A malicious hit is different from helmets colliding because this is a collision sport. Helmets will collide. And coaches teach you, to get lower than your opponent, when you have ball carrier versus tackler. And that's going to mean a helmet hit. If you're trying to get your helmet low, it doesn't mean that you're leading with the helmet, though. And so we've just lost all common sense and proportion in terms of why targeting rules exist. We should all be able to get the fundamental difference between a malicious hit and a collision. And targeting just doesn't seem to have the nuance, at least the way the rules are written and then implemented. Just the powers that be don't really seem to understand that fundamental concept. And at the very least, I'm not the first to say it, but just, at the very least, have a yellow card, red card system, with the World Cup coming up on us here, at least, I like that idea. You at least get a yellow card if nothing else. But the main thing is this should be reserved for dirty, malicious hits. And we know them when we see them. And that should be the standard. But we had the rules constructed, it's not.
What was it, Wazoo, when Gentry had the targeting call against their receiver who's 5'6"?
Kalen Bullock, I think.
Was it Bullock? Okay. And,
Yeah,
and,
Bullock.
and I mean, our guy's like 6'5", and the other kid's like
Yes.
5'6". Like he can't get low enough
Yes.
to tackle a midget.
There was basically zero strike zone. There was no player to hit.
Yeah.
He had to
No strike
tackle
zone.
him somewhere. Yes.
And by the way, David, thank you for your donation to help the channel. That, like I said, that Mark Rogers and the Voice College football community, they help provide this for free. We're volunteers, and it really lets us have this community. So thank you for that. We really appreciate it.
I think that helmet thing goes in the same category as, like, I guess if you have the football, you're allowed, the straight arm, the hands to the face. Anywhere else is called a personal foul, hand to the face. But if you've got the rock in your hand, apparently you can do whatever you want. So it's kind of weird how when you're on offense, you get away with stuff like that.
And guys, we have just been joined by the man himself,
Rick?
live from Vegas. LBC Trojan, the victory bell has come home.
LBC in the house.
Hey, baby. How we all doing, Trojans and non-Trojans?
What a great game.
Hey, I just want to clarify something. And did we just make the Pac-12 championship game?
We did.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Are you just going to stay in Vegas for 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Hey, man. Hey, dude. There's Trojans walking around here. We were leaving the Billy Idol concert, and the dude had his SC gear on. I'm like, hey, man, can you take a picture of us, right? So my daughter's got to see Billy Idol in Vegas. As we're celebrating my wife's birthday out here, and we went into the concert in the fourth quarter, and oh my God, back and forth. I don't know about you guys, my phone's blowing up, complaining about our defense. I'm like, relax. My God, so many insecure Trojan fans out there. It's disgusting.
We won it, though. We got him.
Hey, come on. What can you do in 1 year? You can't fix everything. But how about Austin Jones?
Austin Jones was great.
Jones was great. And so many times this game comes down to somebody that steps up and makes a play that is not really known. And I think I saw it on my phone. I didn't see the play, but I heard that Corey Foreman got the last interception.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay?
he did.
So I didn't see it. And you guys could probably describe it for me. How was that play? How was that reaction?
It was pretty amazing. I've heard. I was telling earlier in the show, saying everyone's been saying, right, Rick? Where's Corey Foreman been? Where's Corey? That's where he is, right there. He made a catch with his fingertips. He came across like as a receiver. It was beautiful. He didn't wait for the ball to come to him. He broke on the ball, made a great pick. It was amazing, Rick. He looked like a safety.
I started screaming like a middle school girl. I'm surprised the neighbors didn't call the police.
I threw my notes into the air, Rick. I was like, I couldn't believe that. I was like, ah.
And there's our man, Matt Zemek. How you doing, Matt?
Doing great, Rick. Hey,
Oh,
we're all living our best life here.
And is that Dan in Japan?
Yeah, it's D-Mac over here. I'm back.
And we got Will
Boy.
and
Jack.
And I was,
And you're getting a shout out right now from Trojan John as well.
Hey, Trojan John,
Nice.
let me tell you something. My friends were texting me, and I'm like, look, dude, Caleb is a G. DTR is going to do DTR things because he thinks in his mind that he's better than Caleb Williams, and he's going to have to prove it and show it. And you know what? He tried. He pushed too hard, in my opinion. He tried to force things when they shouldn't have been forced because, just my opinion, I think he thought this was his time to shine and show the world that he was better than Caleb Williams. And it just didn't happen. And he made too many mistakes. I think 3 interceptions and a fumble.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
that was a questionable fumble. I didn't really.
No, it looked good.
It was a fun.
Okay.
It was good.
All right. I didn't know if his seat hit the ground, but you know what? This team has heart. This team is gritty. The culture is currently changed, and there's like 60 dudes on that team that would not let us lose.
No, they were not going to let us lose. By the way, Pat wants to know: did Billy play Eyes Without a Face?
Of course, he did.
Of course.
He played,
Okay, good.
yeah.
We had you, Rick. You have fans. They had to know the answers to these things.
All right. Let me tell you, Billy Idol has sounded better in this concert than he ever has before. It was. I mean, come on. We get a Trojan win, and I get to see Billy Idol 5th row. Oh God! I mean, it's a perfect night.
Can we have a better night?
No.
Jesus, man.
Well, I wish Cam Rising was having a better night. Cam Rising just threw an interception. They're marching. They're down by 3, and
Bo Pick just had thrown one a minute ago.
What's the score on that one?
The Ducks are up by 3 right now. About 5 minutes left in the game.
Okay, well, still.
But the Utah was marching, and Cam Rising just threw an interception. So
I got a question for Matt Zemek.
Fire away.
Matt? Okay, the final score tonight was 48-45, right?
Yeah.
So what is the national media going to say about this game? Something to the fact that we don't play any defense yet. When Tennessee beat Alabama at Tennessee 52-49, that was just a classic, all-time great game, wasn't it?
Well, Rick, you're going to enjoy the fact that Tennessee just gave up 63 points to South Carolina. So they don't have much to talk about defenses in the SEC.
I saw that. And I think Lane Kiffin went to Fayetteville and gave up 42 and lost.
Yeah, SEC stands for the Sucky Entitled Conference, by the way, in case anyone's wondering. other than Georgia.
So, Matt, you've got the power of the pen. You cannot let the SEC media paint this game any differently than Tennessee versus Alabama. That's what happens when you have good quarterback play.
Good quarterbacks, great offensive skill sets, NFL draft talent, absolutely. Yeah. And of course, this is the other side of in 2011 when, LSU 9, Alabama 6 was this amazing defensive struggle. And it really was just more about Jarrett Lee
offenses.
Jordan Jefferson being lousy quarterbacks for LSU.